coalition of civil society groups on Wednesday stormed the American Embassy and British High Commission in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, to demand electronic transmission of electoral results in real time as the only way to ensure that the 2027 general election is free, fair, transparent, and credible. The group, consisting of lawyers in defense of democracy and human rights and the Movement for Credible Elections, said it is imperative for the National Assembly to be sensitive and responsive to the voice of the people, especially in a country with an history of electoral irregularities and trust deficits, and that any system that exacerbates public suspicion will not augur well for the country. They said they had to come to both the American Embassy and British High Commission because of the close ties shared with both countries, which gave Nigeria her democratic and constitutional model. They accused the government of President Bola Tinubu of trying to stifle dissent and protest against the use of manual transmission using the security agencies, and that Nigerians are ready to pay the price to make sure their voices are heard. The National Assembly recently passed the Electoral Act with Clause 60 proving to be deeply contentious, retaining both electronic and manual transmission of results amidst intense bickering. The issue has divided the Nigerian public and show no sign of dying down anytime soon. Kingdom Okere Nnamdi, a human rights lawyer and activist, said that the passage of the Electoral Act with both the manual and electronic transmission shows that the ruling party and President Tinubu are set to manipulate the elections for their own benefit. Hence, the call for the intervention of the US and UK to prevail on the government to ensure that Nigerians' democracy continues on a progressive path.
We have just come to United States Embassy and the UK Embassy. The UK particularly colonized Nigeria, and Nigeria borrowed their democracy from the United States. We have just come to report to the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu of how they terrorized innocent armless protesters yesterday, fired tear gas on us because we are just demanding for credible election, because we are just demanding that the issue of credibility of the 2027 election will be tested by online real-time transmission of votes from the various polling units. That was the only thing we are demanding. So that is what we have come to report to the United States Embassy and the Embassy of the UK of the anti-democratic practices that is going on in Nigeria, and they need to have a credible election in 2027. We are calling on these two countries and the European Union and all developed countries to help Nigeria's democracy. We have come to officially report to this government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the issue that the election must be real-time, online transmitted. That is our stand.
Peter Akah, an activist and coordinator of the Movement for Credible Elections, said the caveat making manual transmission the primary means of election result transmission was unnecessary, that INEC has the funds to partner with international satellite companies to ensure smooth operation of the electronic transmission of election results in real time.
Nigeria claims to copy the US democratic system of government, and even as we are speaking now, the Nigerian government is in a partnership with the US government on issues of security, and the world must know that to get stable or stability in this country, we must have credible, free and fair elections where the votes of the people should count, and the people must have confidence that what they do on election day is what results that are announced and the leaders that they get. So if the US is truly interested in having peace and stability in Nigeria, they must support the demand of the overwhelming majority of Nigerians to have credible elections. We have been at the US Embassy and the British Embassy. The UK, by the way, has been financing a lot of the electoral reform programs, even with the National Assembly. So we will have to ask ourselves the question, do we fund electoral reform programs to end with clauses in an act that is going to guarantee electoral malpractices? Nigerians have been demanding that we need mandatory real-time electronic transmission of results, and everybody who means well for this country must support that cause, because it is one of the only means to reduce human interference and issues of election rigging. And we say we need technology. The INEC has been given money for technology, yet the National Assembly passed a bill with a caveat that we should go back to manual collation of results. We say no. know. Let everybody know exactly what is going on, that the Nigerian people are demanding. We only need a simple process to vote our leaders. Is it too much to ask, my dear sister?
While the 2026 Electoral Act amendment has gotten the president's assent, it is clearly that this is not the last we will hear of this matter. Onotunde Juliana reporting from True Vision Television, the platform that democratizes the media space.